Hello and welcome everyone. In this episode, we are still in Beit Abdallah Children Hospice. We are doing in our show a series of episodes to meet with the professionals, from therapists to doctors. We'll talk about them about Beit Abdallah and also about their professions. In this episode, we will meet with speech and language therapist Sara Almeer. Stay with us. Welcome back. From Beit Abdallah Children Hospice, we are glad to have with us here speech and language therapist Sara Almeer. Sara, thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you for having me.
You are most welcome. As you know, we are here doing a tour inside Beit Abdallah Children Hospice to meet with all the specialties, all the doctors, all the therapists. You are a speech and language therapist working with children. Tell us about this job.
So the field of speech and language therapy is very, very broad. So we cover all of the speech problems. So for example, if someone has unclear speech, we cover language problems, which is the language structure or like the grammar of our speech. And then there's also the narratives. So for example, having the idea, complete coherent idea and putting it into speech. And for example, telling a story. One of the aspects of care that we also do is swallowing difficulties, which is dysphagia. And that is mostly my bread and butter here.
Dysphagia.
Dysphagia, which is swallowing difficulties.
Yes.
There are a lot of causes for swallowing difficulties. And of course, eating is a very important aspect of our lives.
Yes.
We all get maybe cranky during Ramadan when we're fasting and we don't have the ability to eat, because eating is a social activity.
Yes.
It is something that we do for coping.
One of life's pleasures.
Yes, definitely. So for our children here at Beit Abdallah, those who are struggling with their diseases and their conditions, having food or feeding problems be one of these issues would definitely impact their quality of life.
Now, to compare these children, because we know that they are under the palliative care, with the, let's say, children without illnesses, right? Is it different? Is it difficult? Is it like special? They need more care than usual, in your opinion?
So those who are normally developing, they have a lot of opportunities for development.
Yeah.
So think of a child at home whose auntie gives them like a small piece of, I don't know, cookie or something like that, and how for him to experience all of these things, he would have normal development of his body and the full structures.
Yes.
Maybe for these children, that's the situation. On the other hand, our children here, they might be hospitalized for a long period of time.
Yes.
So that social aspect of trying food might not be there. Another thing is, for these children, they might even have some disability, some physical disability.
Yes.
So they lack head stability, they lack trunk stability. Swallowing, even though people think that swallowing is easy, it's like swallowing water, and that's what we say, it's not that easy. It involves a lot of cranial nerves, it involves a number of muscles, and it is like a well-synchronized symphony that every single muscle has to work at a specific time.
So help me here. You are a speech and language therapist, and you help them also to the term that you mentioned, dysphagia, to make them swallow. What is the connection between speech and swallowing?
That's a very good question. So swallowing difficulties falls, I always say this to the parents of the children that I treat, we use similar muscles when it comes to swallowing and when it comes to speech. Because mostly speech, it's here in the oral cavity. So that's one of the latest areas that fell under the field of speech and language therapy, but it's certainly one of the subspecialties in the field of speech and language therapy. So it's not even included in our name, or like the المسمى الوظيفي, as we say.
Yeah, the occupation name. So this saliva, it has something to do with the swallowing? Because this is, Yeah,
so saliva or like the secretions, the oral secretions, sometimes they have even more, or they have difficulty managing these secretions.
So more is also not good.
Absolutely.
Less is also not good.
Yeah, so we might have dryness, which is in the case of some of the children and individuals with cancer.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they might have the dry mouth and all of these sensations, which affects the tasting, the enjoyment of the feeding.
So they need actually a medication for it. It's not like
the management is different.
Yeah,
It's definitely most of the swallowing difficulties, if not all, are managed within a multidisciplinary field.
Yes.
So I work with the dietitians, and I'm sure you met one of our amazing dietitians.
Yes.
I work with occupational therapists.
All right.
Because I'm not sure if you've mentioned or if you've met one of our teammates, but they're involved in the self-feeding aspect.
Self-feeding, yeah.
And the independence aspect of feeding. And then I work with the physical therapists because head support, trunk support, and all of that, and the stability is very important. So management of those with dry mouth is completely different than managing those with excessive amount of oral secretions. So for example, a child with a lot of oral secretions, he might need medication. I definitely need to look into what is the cause of having this excess amount of saliva.
Yes.
Because a lot of the times it is not really excess amount of saliva, it is actually just them not swallowing enough.
All right.
And not swallowing enough secretion.
Actually, I appreciate the information that you provided. I think we got off subject.
Absolutely.
Yes,
you can definitely get me off subject anytime.
Because I want to know more about this. But now let's talk about the volunteers and doctors. You work from the Ministry of Health, right? Let's talk about the atmosphere here. Your work. How do you work? Your colleagues who are inside the Ministry of Health. If you want to invite them to come to join here, at least for a part-time job, what do you say?
So I am on secondment or outreach. I'm providing outreach services here in Beit Abdallah 2 days a week. And so for the environment here, it's definitely more accessible, I would say. Not to say that the doctors there in the big hospitals are not accessible. It's just that working within a smaller community, it's always like within an arm's length.
I can relate to that, yes. Thank you so much, Sara, for all the informative subject that we are talking about, which is speech and language therapy. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me.
You are most welcome. That was speech and language therapist Sara Almeer, working here in Beit Abdallah Children's Hospice. We thank her for all the information, of course, for all the volunteers, and someone want to contribute this Beit Abdallah Children's Hospice. Until the next time.